Hello and welcome to the Great Composite Door Debate. My name's Michelle Orp and I'm joined by four professionals from four companies within the composite door market. Today we will be discussing how to retain value in one of the few growth areas within the industry in recent years, composite doors. But can composite doors sustain growth and maintain good margins? Helping me answer these questions today we have Guy Hubble from Regaled.
Morning, Michelle.
I have Dave Gomersall from Distinction Doors.
Good morning.
I have Roger Benton from Hoppy Group.
Good morning, Michelle.
And I have Mark Atkinson from Hurst Plastics.
Good morning.
We're going to start today with you, Guy. Now, you work for a company which is a market leader in decorative glass. What has your experience been of the composite door market?
We entered the composite door market in 2006 to supply decorative units for what we believe is going to be the move to the retail sector in the composite door market. We had a long history in supplying the panel industry, and we appreciated that decorative glass would be a very big driver in the market. We've seen over the last 7 years phenomenal growth rates, and now it's a very significant part of our business.
Now, Dave, you're a supplier in composite door slabs. Has your experience of the market been similar to Guy's?
Very much so, yes. Similar timescale in terms of when we entered the market. We started trading in 2005, and at the end of the last year we were averaging 6,500 to 7,000 doors per week. So there's been huge growth over the last 7 or 8 years. Historically, our business has been derived through the social housing market, but certainly in the last 18 months to 2 years, we've seen a much bigger swing towards the retail market, and again, added value products that are helping drive that.
Now, Roger, you work for Hoppy Group, who are a manufacturer of quality door furniture. Yeah. Has the development of composite doors had an effect on that business?
I think it has. Similar to Dave and Guy, that our history of 25 years in the market was founded on PVC panel doors, but certainly in the last 5 years, through our network of customers, we've seen a greater demand for better quality, better performing hardware and handles. So I think it's a good trend, and we're certainly seeing the benefits of that.
Mark, as a manufacturer, has the growth of the composite door market helped you weather stormy market conditions?
Similar to the rest of the table, most certainly. Our business is firmly entrenched in the door panel market, which is a mature product. With the emergence of the composite, that's certainly offset that decline.
Okay, well, we have four professionals, I think you'll agree, definitely qualified to answer our questions here today. So the first area we are going to be discussing is what have been the drivers in the market and how have they changed? Guy, let's come to you first.
I have to look at the market mainly from the retail perspective because we have very little involvement in social housing. I believe that one of the big drivers is in the retail sector has been the use of decorative glass. The composite door product has been used extensively in social housing for many, many years, and there is hundreds of thousands per year installed. As we move to retail, there needs to be a differentiation in that product, and we've seen the easiest way for fabricators like Mark to give that differentiation is to use decorative glass. That has been, from our perspective, the big drive in the move to retail. Make it look like a higher quality product and look like the £1,000 door that it is retail.
Did you agree with that, Mark?
I think it started off very much aesthetics and security, and that was the main move away from traditional PVC panel and sash doors. With that then brought product differentiation, and as Guy certainly says, it moved on to product differentiation via glass, via colour, and just the full package rather than just the product.
And Dave, what do you think the drivers of the market have been?
I think there's been several. Just looking at purely the composite door, which is obviously what we have our expertise in. The composite door's been around for around 20 years, sold worldwide, and there's millions of the products all over the world. But certainly, really since the turn of the millennium in the UK, we've seen more and more composite door sales growing year on year. Historically, as I said earlier, our business has been very much around the social housing market, and really the thing that drove that particular market was the need to have a product that had longevity and sustainability. The product that we launched had a 25-year manufacturer's warranty and a 10-year surface warranty, which for local authorities was an absolute key driver in the early stages. But as these guys are saying, that market is really sort of reaching saturation point now. It will continue for a number of years, but the real change and the real challenge for us going forward is very much the retail market. And to put it kind of bluntly, people are paying £1,000 for a door set, don't want a council house door. They're wanting something different. The quality's still there in terms of the aesthetics, the looks of it. It's got a good look to it. It is secure. It passes all the local authority standards and the national standards. And more recently, in terms of door energy ratings, it's a high performer as far as that is concerned. So again, it's ticking a lot of the boxes. But you still have to look at what Mr. and Mrs. Smith will want when they actually go to buy a product, and ultimately it has to look good. And to do that, people want decorative glass, they want better door furniture, they want different colours, they want to differentiate themselves, and there's an ability to do that with the composite door.
Obviously, with composite doors, it's a question of quality and not compromising on that. Roger, Hoppy Group have been around for 60 years. Is this something that's important to you?
I think so. To pick up on a few points already said by the guys, that our experience in composite doors is very much social housing, but with the increase of demand in retail, we've definitely seen a move towards better, higher quality handles and hardware. It's been very popular that they want colours to match on the door, so whether it be a door handle or a letter plate, you want matching colours. We've seen changes in materials. Historically, we've been very dominant on using aluminium, but we see now stainless steel emerging as an alternative material. We see emergence of new colours, so typically a white handle or a black handle or a chrome handle, that's still there, but we see stainless steel becoming more popular. I think all of us, we attended the FIT show recently, the exhibition last April. A lot of the composite door people were there were showing new products. So designs are different. We're moving away from the traditional handle that was used on panel doors, and we're looking now to launch something completely different, which is very exciting. And I think also I have to mention that the lock manufacturers are also pushing new innovations which require different handles. So all of that is going to help the retail sector.
Do any of you think for bringing the price down on composite doors?
I'll start that one. Absolutely not. It's not a saturated market by any stretch of the imagination. There is still potential for a lot of growth there. And I think it would be completely the wrong thing, particularly in the consumer market, to do that. People are discerning, people understand what they want, people want quality, and I think to actually downscale and de-engineer product, whilst it may suit certain organisations who are looking to increase margins, there are far better ways of doing it. And I think if people take a much more sensible approach and actually continue to strive to make improvements and to drive the demand forward, I think the discerning public are aspirational and do want better products. And I think it would be the wrong thing to do.
With this emerging product, it has moved on, and the market, the glazing market, seems to have embraced that as well. Yeah. Gone are the days, I think, where traditionally, certainly from a panel point of view, a PVC door panel and sash, it used to be half a dozen windows and I'll throw your door in. This is completely changed it on its head. With its integrity, with its pedigree, it has certainly moved the bar into a positive direction. And with it, through differentiation, has brought the colours, the different glasses, the different options available. And certainly the consumer is certainly more savvy these days, and that's where they're gravitating towards.
I think also that on hardware, the emergence of security standards in the industry the last 5 years, we have PAS 24, which the industry is very familiar with, but I think the consumer's aware of this as well, because we've seen a massive growth on security. It's all added value. It all gives a good specification for the door, and we've seen that in social housing, and I think the consumer market are also aware of that as well.
Certainly the retail market, yeah. Whereas previously all they were interested in was the aesthetic, essentially, and then the security came with it. Yeah. They've been pleasantly surprised, not only just with the aesthetic, but with the security. Yeah. And that, again, as I reiterate, they've certainly become more savvy in what they're looking for, and this product has delivered.
Absolutely. I think when you look at the price of the composite door, originally if we go back to 2006, 2007, the composite door was a £1,500 installed product, whereas a panel door was probably a £600 or £700 product. The introduction of the nanyard slab from Distinction did, of course, made the product much more cost effective, and it brought the price down so the product could compete against a panel door. What I always worry about in this market is that there's going to be this race to the bottom on price, and that it goes from being a £1,500 door to a £600 or £700 door, and then people are already saying it's a £399 door, and we're following it all the way down. When it got to being £750, £800 installed, it was the right price for the consumer to want to buy. We need to maintain that as the market goes forward, and if trying to nudge it back up by adding value again, hardware, glass, colour, that I think a lot of us are involved in.
I think I'd agree with that, Guy. I'd agree with that, and I think the important thing as well is, and you've all alluded to it, is that people are far more discerning. People actually, in the general public, want quality. They're aspirational. Not everybody wants to buy purely on price. I've always worked on sort of three key elements that people buy on. One is quality, one is service, and one is price. If you get the quality and the service right, price, I wouldn't say it's insignificant, but people are willing to pay the price for the quality and the service. And I think we have a duty, care and responsibility within the industry to ensure that all the time we don't accept the status quo, we don't get complacent and think that it's all about just driving price down and de-engineering product. It's very much about actually embracing change, embracing what's new, and actually improving all the time. I think we all can take personal experiences in everyday walks of life, and we all aspire to have something new, whether it's a new car or a new three-piece suite or a new house. And for me, very much so, the front door now, particularly the main entrance door, people are wanting to make a choice, are wanting to see something different. And I don't think we should rob people of that. I think we should embrace it and actually help them do that.
I think that end user market again has changed. Going back to our roots, which is essentially the humble door panel, which we know is mature. Overseas, European wide, that was the focal point of the house was always the door. They would never think of buying a cheap product for their front door. It was a primary thought process in their decision making process. It was high in their agenda. Absolutely. Whereas in the UK, it tended to be the poor relation. It was the windows that sold, and it was the salesman that drove the window sales, and then just threw something in. Yeah. That has certainly changed. And touching on Guy's comments regarding the emergence of the product and on the composite and where it's got to on price now, we've seen our, although it's a mature product, we've seen a resurgence a little bit on door panels. However, we're not naive enough to think that that's going to be a sustained resurgence. It polarised the market in as much as that our panel product is now very much at the cheaper end. It's very much the planes and the solids, whereas the decorative elements are almost entry-level composite, and those are the areas that which the consumer wants to gravitate towards, understandably so too.
Do you think there's a worry, because the composite doors, as you mentioned, do appeal because of aesthetics as well as safety, that you could pigeonhole the composite door to people that can afford it as opposed to people that can't and therefore would go for a panel door? I
think there is still a market for the panel. As much as it's mature and it is declining, it's still refusing to die. Yeah. There is a market for it. Mm-hmm. However, the composite product has made leaps and bounds into that marketplace, and will continue to do so. It will die at some stage. As to what that is, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, I'm not really sure. There's better people out there than I am to hazard a guess there, and some have already past that sell-by date, and it's still with us.
I think the composite door, though, fits in the market in between, price-wise, in between a panel door and a quality timber product. And the composite door product can move into both those markets. There's been a lot of talk about the composite doors taking the panel business away. It could also, at its higher end specification, good hardware, good glass, the engineered door that Distinction bring in, this high quality product, it should be able to take away from the timber door industry as well. should be able to eat into that sector. So there is composite board does not need to just take away from the panel industry.
Certainly on hardware and handles, that lots of claims are made by different companies in the market, whether it be 10 years or 25 years. But I think when we talk about consumer, they should and they expect a good warranty. And I think for my company, we do offer genuine warranties. And I have to say, I do despair sometimes, and I won't name names, of course, but I think when the performance of the hardware is so important, and on this kind of level of door and the money they're paying for it, they should have high quality products. And certainly we're striving to, whether it be whatever material, whatever finish, we'll offer good warranties to complement the door and the glass, and for the installers, they should expect that. So I think warranties are really important.